you are and however you are listening, thank you so much for being back on another episode of Winning the Moment. Today, I have a super special guest, my little sister, Sarah, and we have a super fun conversation. Gets a little emotional at times, talk about some conspiracy theories, but I think there's a bunch of great topics, and it's just a fun-hearted conversation. So thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the episode. Are you recording?
I am.
Okay, great.
You're like, yeah, we like that.
Why do you think I'm going to bully you?
Well, no, you just like to use me as like examples of like what not to do, you know? Like you said, I'm young.
Yeah, that's okay. What do you mean I like to use you for examples of what not to do?
Like in your book and on your podcast, I listen.
Well, everyone has things that they shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So.
just like a good example.
You're a example. You don't have anywhere to be, do you?
No.
I didn't think so.
I'm. Thank you. Actually, I do have plans. Okay, I'm driving to Salt Lake.
Where'd you stay last night?
Addie's.
Oh, you did? Okay. I was getting worried about you.
I know. I thought about that this morning that I probably should have texted you
Yeah.
guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that'd be
Like
nice.
your child, I know. Sorry.
If you're not going to come home, let me know.
Feel free to keep talking topics, but I'm ready to go when you guys
Okay,
are.
great. You went to F45 yesterday?
Yeah.
Do you have a membership at F45?
No, it was like
Like a free week or whatever?
bring a friend, because I'm gonna do the free week, but I didn't do that. It's bring a
What'd you
friend.
think?
So I almost passed out.
It's great though, isn't it?
It was really great. No, but for real, she had to get me a honey stick.
She had to
No,
get
like,
you a what?
Honey stick.
A honey stick?
Like I seriously, I mean, all I didn't prepare myself. I had a salad like 4 hours prior.
What's a honey
So-
stick? Like just for energy?
Yeah, she was like, just to bring your sugar up, because I seriously was like, I've never felt so. I don't know what passing out
You
feels
exercise
like,
a lot,
but, like,
don't you?
Yeah, but not like intense like that, because that's like go go go. Like that's
Yeah, that 45 is
like
different.
I like.
So you don't do
strength
cardio
train.
stuff.
No,
You just do weight
not
training.
really. I should.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, cardio's good. You got to do both, I think.
you do. I know.
Okay, so for everyone listening, this is my younger sister, Sarah. So family member number 2. She's just as nervous as Dad, maybe even more nervous.
Dad was nervous.
Oh, yeah, he was super nervous.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was like damn near terrified.
That's not like Dad.
Yeah, he was very nervous.
Oh, that's
Sarah's
so
got her
weird.
Vizzy here to help her out. So hopefully that
Not
will...
sponsored.
Yeah, it's Vizzy if you want to sponsor
me,
us.
yeah.
We're here. We're available. So Sarah, thanks for being here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So any particular topics that you feel like, man, I want to talk about this today? You've listened to all the episodes, right?
Yeah,
Have you listened to Sunny's yet?
I was gonna say actually, if you had one just come out now.
Yeah, Wednesday, Sunny's is good.
I do want to listen.
Yeah,
to
Sunny's is really good. Anything that you feel like, since you've listened to so many, you have an idea of what we're talking about, anything that you feel like because you're 23, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a 23-year-old, is there any message or topics or things that it's like, man, I wish that they would talk about this, or I wish that they understood this perspective? Because you're the only the second person I've had on the podcast so far in like their young 20s. So you guys are experiencing a different life than I did. And your experiences are so much different than mine, like
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious for you, like to get into your head as a 23-year-old, like what do you foresee for your future? Because it is challenging right now.
Oh yeah, that's what I was just talking with Allie the other day. Like, I'm not going to get a house. Like, there's
I know.
no way. Like right now, even my room for rent is like what Dad pays for his house.
Yeah.
So
Well, when I bought my first house, so Megan and I built our first house. I think I was 21 when we bought and built our first house, and I think my mortgage was $1,100. I'm pretty sure. What are you paying for rent in your apartment in Salt Lake?
everything added up, it's either
Just like the rent, not the utilities and stuff, just the
Oh.
rent.
$1,100.
See,
That's a
so
room.
you're paying
That
the
is
same
literally a room.
the same amount of money and also my money, like $1,100 for me. That would have been. Well, let's see. If I'm 36, that would have been 15 years ago. So
Yeah.
that's $1,100 now is even more money than it was back then, know? But so for the same amount of money, I was able to have a brand new 2,000 square foot, 4-bedroom house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that is just, what does that look like for your generation? Like what?
You have to have a partner. Seriously, I think that's the only way that you can do it. Or, I mean, living with friends, that's what I've done. But you have to, I think, have a partner in order to get a house, because you have to have 2 incomes.
Yeah, because you wouldn't make
Even
it.
that's hard.
And even if you had a partner to get a house right now, with
Yeah,
interest rates where they're at, like, so when you think about your future, how do you think about that? Because Is a
Just
house
don't.
even a goal for you, or like what does that really look like for someone in your demographic at your age? Like, you guys are faced with so many challenges. I mean, everything is so expensive now. Groceries are out of control.
Oh my God, yeah.
Gas is out. In fact, I just saw a video a kid did at Costco. Because the government's saying inflation's like 4% or whatever, you know? But he went to Costco, he took pictures, and like 2 months later, flour that was $4 is now $12. So it's a 300% increase, you know? There were things that were 75% increase, 50% increase. Like I went with Megan to Costco like a month ago or so, and we barely got anything. It was $400.
Yeah.
And I mean, the cart was not full, you know? So
I can spend that much, and I'm just me.
yeah. So it's like, I just wonder how do you foresee your future? Like when you think about goals for yourself, what does that even look like, given that you are facing an uphill battle?
Honestly, I don't know. I just know the truth is I don't think about it because I
Yeah.
don't want to. Because
So
it's
there's
like,
nothing wrong with being present.
what does that even look like? I have no idea, because who knows what it looks like when I'm actually ready to get a house. Because honestly, right now, being single and I don't have kids or dogs or anything, like living with friends, it's honestly more fun for me anyways. So,
Sure.
like, I have no issue with that. Obviously, I want a house eventually.
Yeah.
But what does that look like? I honestly don't know. If
Like,
I'm
is there
gonna be able to?
A goal in mind that you have that like, I want to be able to have a house at this time, or like what do those goals look like for someone at your age and your generation now, given the obstacles?
I mean, I hope by the time I'm 30, I'm
In a house. Yeah.
for sure. Because I'm 23. I'm almost 24, so it's like 6.
Even then, though, to think that's almost a decade later than me, which makes sense because it's so much more challenging, you know? Like Meg and I couldn't have our house today.
No.
And even like the first house we bought in St. George, our mortgage was $500. Yeah.
That's so annoying.
Because that house we bought for $98,000, so our mortgage was $500. So it's like, when you
Honestly, no, I better get that house from Dad.
no, it's my house.
Cody, do you need it? We're literally talking about how I need it more than you do.
Well, you can rent it from me. I'll rent it from you for a very affordable amount. Listen, I bought that house, put all that work in, and I sold it to Dad at a heavy discount with the understanding that when the time came, the house comes back
What are you
to me.
going to do with it?
Rent it to you.
Why? Okay. Well, fine.
Sorry, that was the deal we made.
I get it.
Um,
Then still, like, the money for rent, like, doesn't go towards something. Like, if I'm gonna
yeah, no, you gotta.
be in a house, I want my money to be like going towards paying it off.
Interesting what you say too about having a partner, because it really does take like 2 incomes to survive.
It does, and you can honestly barely. I have friends with partners, and
Do any of your friends own houses?
Addie and Logan.
They do. They own their
Yeah,
house. I
Logan,
wondered if they owned or
and
rented.
I think they actually got lucky too. I could be wrong, but I think like his grandpa like had that house and like rented it out to them or something.
Do they own the house or are they just renting it?
That's a good question.
Oh, so they're just in a house, but you don't know if they own it or if they
Yeah,
rent it.
but I think like he helped them get it.
Okay.
Because still at that time, even it was hard.
Yeah, because even an introductory level house now, what you're looking at, and then also the amount of money that you need for a down payment, where it's so hard for for Americans to save right now, given all of the restrictions on finances and stuff.
Yeah. No, yeah, to get into a house, even to get into an apartment, you have to have a lot of money saved. I've gotten lucky, honestly, when I moved, because I've moved in with people who already paid that, and so I didn't have to. But
You didn't have to have that upstart expense.
the down payment, yeah.
So let's tell the audience a little bit. So who is Sarah? What's Sarah's story?
It's a little vague. You're the podcaster. I don't know.
Well, it's your story. I can't write it.
I know. I could just go off. I mean, there's a lot about me. Yeah, go ask me an actual question.
That is an actual question. What's your backstory? Like what makes Sarah Sarah? You should probably take some time to figure that question out for yourself.
Yeah,
what makes you
maybe.
tick? Like what? Here's a question for you. If money didn't exist, what kind of project would you do to make a positive impact on the world? So money didn't matter and you just got to go do something that you knew was going to make a positive impact. What would you do?
An animal shelter.
Okay, so like what kind?
I don't know. One that no kill animal shelter.
Okay.
Just like a
All
know,
animals
honestly,
or
like,
just dogs?
Yeah, like kind of like best friends, probably.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Why
like
don't
a
you try and work
community.
at Best Friends?
I've looked into it, and I think you can even like live there.
They do, yeah. They provide housing. We have to live in
Yeah.
Kanab. Kanab's cool, but for like a young single person, maybe. But you might meet someone out there who has similar thoughts and beliefs as you.
No, you have to have experience with animals. Even like when I've applied to anything animal oriented, like even a groomer, I feel like.
Even best friends, I feel like that'd be different because they're like a nonprofit. I'm sure that they bring people on who don't to give them the experience there.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't actually filled out a thing for them, but I do know that, I mean, they are, like, even to get an animal from them, like, you have to go through, like, remember Allie, like, couldn't get an animal for some weird reason because they're so strict. So, I mean, you have to be, like, top tier to work there. Not that I don't think I am top tier, but
yeah, I mean, that's
I think
what,
it's hard to get a job there.
if that's what you really want to do, why don't you pursue something in that field?
Yeah, I should. I mean, sorry, Leanne Spencer. But I should. We were actually talking about that last night. Like, why am I not? It's just hard to get into it.
Yeah, because do you think that like your graduating high school self thought you would be where you are right now?
No.
And what do you think causes that?
Well, because I didn't finish school.
Because you were so set on finishing school. So when you graduated high school, you thought like, no matter what, I'm going to school, I'm getting a degree.
That's actually going to make me emotional.
That's okay.
Has anyone cried on here yet?
Yeah. Yeah. Brett cried.
I mean,
Dad got emotional.
Did he?
Yeah.
I mean, I cry pretty easily. So
Yeah.
it's not like this is every day for me. No, yeah. I mean, growing up, I always thought I was going to be a vet.
And so when you graduated high school, you thought for sure that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting too is, so for the people listening, Sarah was the best at school in our family of anyone. Got the best grades, did the best in school. Did you get a scholarship?
Yeah, that's why I went to
that's what I thought. Yeah, got a scholarship.
Why I went out of state, which that was my first mistake.
Yeah.
Don't go out of state. It's so expensive.
Yeah, got a scholarship, went to school, which I never did. So you had all those things going. So then you go to school, you go to NAU.
Yeah.
And the scholarship didn't cover enough.
It was, yeah. I mean, it wasn't much. And then there even was some weird thing because we were in like one of the surrounding states that they like gave you some sort of discounted rate there too. But honestly, they lied about, because I remember sitting down with mom and they're like, okay, it's going to be around.
Yeah, because I thought you thought it was going to be covered, right?
Not fully covered, no.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like a full ride by any means, but we sat down with a finance person and they were like, yeah, looks like it's going to be about $13,000 for the year. And mom was like, okay. And then at the end, we did the math. It was $40,000.
No.
It was $40,000.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, obviously, and then at the end of
and they
school,
paid that for you.
I mean, dad and mom and Jim split. Yeah. They all, I know.
That's insane.
I know. When they told me, because I mean, they would like get random charges and they're like, what's this for?
Yeah.
And the school just somehow got around it. And like, in order to stay, we had to pay. So they just continued to pay. I always say they paid for my experience because, I mean, really, I didn't get a scholarship out of that, but I had a very fun year. So
yeah.
Thank you, Mom, Dad, and Jim.
So if school was free, would you have stayed, do you think?
Honestly, no, I don't know. I think that it was a shock because I think schooling in Utah,
oh yeah, it's
sucks.
terrible. Yeah.
So like, even though I was getting good grades, it wasn't that hard. I realized that afterwards is like, all you had to do was do the work. And a lot of kids just like, even if you didn't do the work, love you, Addie. She'll say it too. We were just talking about this last night as well. She didn't do anything in this one class. She didn't turn in a 3-page essay, like test, nothing. Got an A.
Yeah, school in Utah is rough. I mean, my English final, my senior year, was like a 1-page paper about the year that I wrote on a piece of paper like this. And like in 9th grade in Wyoming, my English final was a 10-page single-spaced essay with 1-inch margins with a works-cited page and a 5-minute oral presentation. So it's like schooling here was it was a joke.
It was.
And I remember when because Megan went to college too, when she was in high school, and she had to write like a 10-page essay on like building a wall on the border or not. And she was like, I don't even know how to do this. I wrote it for her. Yeah, I got a C. Ew, that was before ChatGPT. I would have aced that shit now.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was just such a shock because.
Just so much harder than you thought? Or like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, because I also, in school, that 3-page paper that I had to write in my language arts class, that was the most I'd ever written. And it wasn't an MLA. I didn't know what MLA was. I got to college.
I don't know what MLA is either. What is it?
It's a format for writing. There's like MLA and then APA, I think. And APA is like if you're going to be like science or like math majors, that's what you would use. But I didn't know how to do it. I mean, I have so many videos of myself like crying till like 5 a.m. just trying to like self-teaching. My whole year of college, I was like just teaching myself how to write MLA. I didn't know. I remember turning it in, my first paper, and she was like, put in MLA format and thinking, yeah, what the hell is that? So I had to learn how to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Should we ask ChatGPT how to be a vet without going to school?
I don't think that exists. I mean, you can be a vet tech without going to school if you find a person who's willing to like on the job train you.
What's the best way to be a vet without an education? If you guys listening aren't using ChatGPT, get on it.
I just had to start using it for my new job with you, and what the heck?
It's incredible.
It's so crazy.
Okay, so becoming a veterinarian typically requires a formal education. It's essential to complete the Doctor of Veterinary Medicine DVM program and obtain a license to practice. Without proper education and training, it's not possible to become a qualified veterinarian. However, you can explore careers in animal care or related fields that don't require a DVM degree, such as veterinary technician, animal shelter worker, or pet groomer, which may have less stringent education requirements. So really kind of what you said.
Yeah. But again, they still want you to have some sort of
certification,
something with animals. No,
yeah.
Just like, but again, if you don't, how are you going to get the like history in animals if
no one gives you a chance?
Yeah.
So okay, so going back to school, so very challenging, but you had fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had such a fun friend group. It was so much fun. Honestly, I mean, I learned a lot because I had to teach myself a lot.
Yeah.
But it's like that wasn't stuff that my teachers taught me because at that point I should have already known everything that they're asking of me. So it was just such a shock because growing up, I thought, yeah, I was a smart kid. I was a kid who got the good grades, like, and then I go there and I'm like, oh no, like, I'm not the smart kid. Like in my friend group, I was like not the dumb one, but like they all knew what they were doing. They knew APA. They knew.
Where did most of your friends come from? Like, were
California.
They from? Oh, California. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But like you said, I mean, I remember when I moved from North Carolina back to Utah for the last time. And I had like 7 weeks of school. And those 7 weeks, I learned like an entire, because I was in honors math. Like I was in honors math, honors
in North Carolina or
yeah,
here?
In North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
I was in honors classes. Like I really was smart. I think when I moved here, like I could have been a lot more intelligent, but I just like was stunted.
Yeah, sure.
Because when I came to Utah, the math class I took, I got 100% on all my tests. And everyone's like, how are you so smart? How do you know it? I'm like, I've already learned this. Like in those 7 weeks, I learned that entire year of math. So I literally got 100% on all my tests because I had already learned it. Wow. And then after that year, yeah, that was really it. Just showed up to school.
And then it was easy. You didn't have to try.
Seriously, I don't even remember taking tests in high school.
Yeah, I don't really remember tests either. What's funny is like growing up as a kid in Wyoming, I remember studying for tests with mom and dad, like every night. Like I feel like I was doing homework every night, like
you would
studying every night.
Hours of homework.
Yeah, and now I don't like even really remember tests in high school.
No.
At all, really.
No.
Yeah, Utah was
I really don't remember.
Not good on the education front.
That's why if you guys weren't here, if my family wasn't here, I would not be in Utah.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a future thinker. I'm like, I don't want my kids to go to school.
Wait, you're such a future thinker. You said you didn't even know when you're going to get a house.
Cody, I think about, I don't like to think about the things that stress me out.
Yeah, just the fun things.
I can't answer that question because I don't know what, and honestly, I should know more than I do about like interest rates and all that, but I don't.
Well, I mean, if you're not in it, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but like, I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I choose to not think about things that stress me out.
That's okay. So then you're in school, so you do that year. Probably have a little bit of guilt that they spent so much money, I'd imagine, right? I didn't know they spent 40 grand. Wow. I'm going to have to ask mom and Jim and dad for
I didn't know you were going to say that. Yeah, that's why I don't tell you guys these things. Yeah. That's
only
what
fair.
Hannah always says. And I'm like, it's not fair. She's like, mom and dad and Jim spent $40,000 for your
I'll take 20. If mom and Jim, if you're listening, I'll take 20K. In fact, I'll take 10. I'll take a discount.
I feel like you actually you did know this because I feel like we've had this conversation.
Maybe
before.
we have. I just forgot. So what was your main driver to decide to not go back to school? Was it the money or was it the difficulty? Like if there was one reason that really cemented you not going back, what would you say it was?
Because I got so sick.
Oh, that's
remember?
right.
At the end of like, I remember my spring semesters studying for
That's right. I
my
forgot
finals
about
and texting dad and being like, can I go to the hospital? Like, can we afford that? And he was like, just, if you can, like, hold out till the morning. So I was like, okay, yeah, I think I can. I was just so miserable.
And would you have an ulcer?
I had a lot of things. I mean, what it ended up being is like a UTI that turned into a kidney infection that turned into sepsis. But like, for whatever reason, two hospitals couldn't catch it. But I mean, I would say it's a blessing in disguise because I did have that cyst that they found in all of it. And had I not found that, like, that would have been a different story and like could have altered me having kids. So, I mean, it sucked, but I'm grateful that it happened for that reason.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, because then they had the bill of the $40,000. Then they had my hospital bills and my surgery bills. And so I was like, at this point, like, your second year of college, you should be working to like help pay. And I was just I couldn't handle the stress, honestly.
Yeah.
The stress of school on my body, I think that's why
Do you think that's what got you sick?
Yeah, because I do.
So depleted?
Well,
and drinking probably didn't help.
No. My habits there, yeah, obviously. But I just didn't think I could physically handle it. Because I do, when I get stressed, my body like gets sick. I'd never had strep throat in my life. Had it 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, like.
So it's just too much.
Yeah. It's too much.
So then after you made that decision not to do it, then did you have an idea of what you wanted to do, or are you still just figuring it out?
I mean, I just went back to the visitor center and honestly just was like, I'm just going to ride this out for a little bit. This is easy. It's stable, you know?
Yeah.
Then I think, I looked into.
Because how long were you at the visitor center for? So Sarah worked at one of our retail locations up in Zion, the Zion Canyon Visitor Center, and it became the manager. How long were you there?
I managed it, thank you.
Yeah.
I think I started when I was either 17 or 18.
Yeah.
And like I had gone, I went to college and then I came back and like worked
the summer, yeah.
4 or 5 years.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
So quite some time. That's probably the longest job you've ever had, actually.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that is my longest
And so
job,
why do you think
sure.
you're able to have that job for so long?
Like why did I stay there?
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said like in a job I want there to be growth, and I mean I got to the point of like being a manager and I did that for like a year, and then I was like, there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Like there's no more up. Plus the store just was, done at that point anyways.
Yeah.
But I think that's wise because like I saw that I could get to that point,
progress,
that I had that chance. So I stayed when I got there. And then, it was just, wasn't what it was anymore at the end. So I was ready to leave.
And did you go from that to Lux?
Say, what did I do? I think, You
did. You left that and then went to Lux.
Yeah, and I moved up north. And that was, I was going to move without a job, but then,
you ended up getting Lux. And now looking back, now you're going to be moving back to St. George. Looking back on your Salt Lake experience, how do you view that?
Not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What fell short?
I moved up for those people who don't know, in St. George, there's like 2 bars.
Yeah.
And so I was 21 and like not experiencing like what I wanted to experience for myself. So I moved up there because there's more of a nightlife and there's also a bigger dating pool because
St. a lot more opportunity.
Pretty much everyone kind of stays here. So I feel like I know for majority, most people, and I'm not going to college, right? So how do you really meet people? But anyways, that's another topic. Salt Lake, it was fun, but if you don't have the friends to go out with, like I'm a female, like you would say, just go to the bar by yourself. Yeah. Cody, never tell Liv that.
Well, Liv's my daughter. That's different.
Who was I saying this to? You are not a protective brother. I was saying something about like my dating life and like that you've never really met any of my boyfriends. And
that's not my fault.
Okay, yeah. I'm not saying it is your fault, but I'm just saying like you wouldn't be the brother because they were like, how would that go if like Cody like met one of your boyfriends? I'm like, well, it's not like he'd be like, you better treat my sister right, like or else, because like that's not
that's on you to make sure he treats you right.
Well, okay, yes, thank you. Anyways, so I had friends there, but like they didn't like to go out as much as I did, which is fine, to each their own. But, I didn't do as much as I wanted to just because I was limited.
And you're working so much.
Yeah. And then, the dating pool, I was like also trying to do, but it's it's not really different there either. Like, you're not going to meet someone at the bar.
Well, I think that's an interesting question, right? Because like marriage rates are down like tremendously. And now, most people your age, your interactions are digital.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so different. Like, you have the opportunity to meet so many people through this device that didn't exist before. Like, you built friendships and relationships through like actual human interaction.
Yeah.
And now you guys have the ability to interact digitally, and you can just like cipher through 100 people in a minute.
Right.
Like potential suitors. And so what does that look like for you when you think about like your future with a partner, and how do people in your bracket go about finding that partner? Like, what does that look like for
No,
you?
seriously, I this is another thing I just hate to think about, because the reason I moved too is, again, I wanted to find someone.
Yeah.
It is, I mean, I've tried dating here. It's just so
Yeah.
hard. It's really non-existent. I mean, because the job I'm doing now with you, it's remote, so I'm not like
not
meeting
interacting in an
people.
office with a bunch of people.
I'm not like going out and meeting new people. I'm not going to school. So yeah, like the two places you really can meet someone is if you're going out to the bars, which men at the bar they're not looking for a girlfriend at the bar the way girls are. And then
What does that mean, the way girls are?
well, it's not like we're like it's like live Tinder,
Yeah.
But
Oh, that's funny.
like they're just going out to like have fun.
Yeah.
They're not looking long term. Like, I feel like most girls are like in their head when they meet a guy, like they immediately think like, could I be with this person?
And you think guys don't?
I don't know. Most.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't think so. No.
So what do you do then?
Well, and then you go on like the like Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, whatever. But then
But are people
just
looking
gets
for
depressing.
relationships there anymore
No,
than they are
not
at the
really. I
bar?
mean, they'll say they are, but it's like also that's just scary. Like,
for
to
sure, as
go
a
and
young
meet up with
female,
people.
like all the things we do in society now, like when I was younger, would have been like crazy. Like even getting in a stranger's car to have them drive you somewhere would have been like, especially like I'm never scared. Actually, that's not true. One time I was, but for the most part, that was in Colorado.
Wait,
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean getting in a car with someone, or
An
you mean,
Uber.
like in your life?
No, like in an Uber.
Oh.
But there was one time I was scared in an Uber in
Oh,
Denver.
okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
The guy who picked me up was not the guy in the picture, and I was like, how come that's not who you are? So that was a little bit.
Okay, I'm actually interested in that story.
He just took me to the stadium.
Did
Everything
you
was
actually
fine.
ask him?
Yeah, no, I did. I was like, how this isn't. You're not the person in the picture. And I think he said like, oh yeah, it's my buddy or something. I'm helping him out. I don't remember.
That happened
But
once with food that got dropped off to me, which made me feel weird. About
definitely
eating the food.
shady.
It's
Yeah.
like a different car and a different dude. I was like,
yeah, that's all. That's not especially if like as a young female, that is a scary thing to do. Get in a stranger's car, have a stranger bring you food, go meet someone you don't know. Like all of those things are
just going for a walk. I walk around with a taser in Salt Lake.
really.
Yeah.
And obviously, St. George is different, right?
Yeah.
You're much different here, but Salt Lake or any major city, it's like those are all scary things, know?
Yeah.
And so I really wonder for you, like, and I think about that for all of the younger people who work with us, like, man, when does their adult life really get to start? Like, when do they get to be with a life partner? When do they get to actually get a house? Like, when can they start planning on having kids? Because, like, and I know you want to have kids, right?
Yeah, like growing up in my head, it was like, okay, turn 21, like have like a fun, like that's your year of like going out, have fun. And then by 22, hopefully I have someone, and then date them for a couple years. And then kids, like married by 24, kids by 26.
Yeah.
It's not happening. So,
well, I mean, it could.
Well, I know. A kid, that's 3 years away.
Well, and even now, isn't the thought of a kid much scarier? Because, like, how, like, to bring on a kid now, given the financial constraints that exist.
Oh, yeah.
Like, unless your partner is very successful, right?
I can hardly, like, I'm supporting myself, and that's hard enough.
Yeah. So imagine, like, if your partner was in the same professional stage of their career as you, and you guys were in the same income bracket, it wouldn't be feasible for you guys to have a kid.
No, genuinely. And like, I'm not after money, but really that my partner has to have, a decent amount so that we can survive together.
Isn't that crazy? So what happens? You meet someone, you love him. It's everything you want, but he makes as much money as you.
We figure it out, but it would be
But
different.
would you pursue it?
I mean, depends. If he was like a really great guy, like, I mean, dating is hard. I'm not going to pass it up. Like,
even if you knew that meant you guys were going to struggle.
Yes, but only if he like tried. Like if he was just like a lazy slob and didn't care to do better, then no, absolutely not. But like if he was doing as much as he could, just like me, like, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Then you're fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that I do wonder that for you, you know, when does that get to start?
Yeah, I don't, it's shitty.
Yeah, and I feel like,
seriously,
and it's not like it's just you. It's not a Sarah problem.
Yeah,
it's a generational problem, right? I mean, like the amount of people your age still living with their parents is astronomical.
Yeah,
there's so many adults. What's that?
I said, thankfully,
yeah, right.
Don't have to do that,
but so many people do. But just because they can't afford or like even young married couples still living with their parents or in a basement of their parents, it's so challenging to create a life now.
No, it really
starting out, you know.
Yeah, gosh.
So how is it for your friends? So Addie's different. Addie's engaged, has a baby, has a house.
Not yet engaged, Logan.
Oh, hey boy, get on with it.
Get it? Come on.
So, but she started that. She started that part of her life.
Oh yeah, she's
What about the rest of your friends?
Mom, has a house, boyfriend. He's great.
Are they more closer to your situation or closer to Addie's?
I mean, dating wise, we're all, besides Amelia, she's got a great boyfriend and she's doing her thing.
Your
and, like, she's
roommate from Salt Lake. Mm-hmm. How's that going? Because I know she quit her job and she had a really good job.
Yeah.
And quit it to pursue her passion of like cooking. I mean,
she's loving. She cooks every day. Like, it seems like she's really enjoying it. Honestly, I haven't caught up with her in a while, but
is she able to monetize that in a way that she can survive, or is she just like living at her parents?
She is. Well, her parents have like a casita, and so her and her boyfriend are living there.
Oh, okay. So she's got like a full live-in relationship.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Was it your boyfriend from up north, or?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they've been together for a while.
We knew him from like high school and stuff. So he was like a friend, and then they started dating. But yeah, she's doing great. It seems at least she's following her passion.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big risk she took,
money.
right?
Yeah, 100%. But she's so good about money. She's been saving money since she like first had her job. So she's really set. So she has me to fall back on if it didn't work. But I'm guessing, because I know she has a new job, like baking. I don't know.
Oh, so she got a job in the food industry. Mm-hmm. Good for her. Yeah. That's great.
So yeah, it seems like she's doing great. And then Grace.
Do you know what her Instagram is?
Can I look?
Yeah, look it up. Just tell the people listening to go follow her, because I know she's trying to pursue her passion of like growing on social media and really leaning into that passion. I think that's so commendable, and it's a difficult and scary thing to do. So if people listening can go give her a follow, that goes a long ways, you know?
Okay. It's Amelia Goebel. That's AMELIA. Goebel, GOEBEL _
Shout out Amelia.
Shout out Amelia. Go follow her. She makes great cooking videos.
Yeah, she really does. She's doing a great job.
And she makes it. She breaks it down for you. So go follow her.
Okay, so what about your other friends? Like, is it pretty consistent that most of your community is in that same kind of space?
Yeah, I mean, yes, Robin and Grace, they're both single. I mean, they're doing their own thing career-wise, but yeah, dating.
Are they doing a career, or are they just doing jobs?
No, Grace is actually, she just became a realtor.
Oh, good
like
for her.
Mom, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then her sister-in-law is like too, so they have like the Appel.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so if you need a realtor in Salt Lake City, shout out to Grace.
Oh, she's in Salt Lake?
Oh, what? St. George.
Okay.
Sorry.
And Robin's working at Black Desert. She was there when I golfed on Wednesday.
Yeah. So because she just came back from Florida.
Yeah, right.
So she was doing that for a while, but now she's back here. So I think we're probably the most similar like situation in life wise. Yeah, just kind of figuring it out, still having fun.
So what is your plan then? Like what is your game plan? Or like when you think, if you're visualizing your future, like what are the things that you see or you're manifesting for yourself? What do you want?
I mean, I want a career that I feel like I enjoy. I never want to like dread going to work, quite honestly. Future thinking though, like really future thinking, I want to be a mom.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think the virtual GM thing, like that's a great job for like mom. So I want to have something for myself still.
So you want to be able to have your primary objective be a mom, but have some sort of position like virtual GM that creates the opportunity to have your own income and support your family.
Yeah. So future that. But right now, like I just want to honestly make as much money as I can. Doing, marketing, they know this. It's not my passion.
Sure.
I've never been in marketing before. It's just kind of something that the opportunity was there, and it's going to be a
And you're getting in
growing-
at the beginning of it, which is exciting because that creates a bunch of opportunity.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's potential there to grow immensely. So, honestly, this is probably just like what I'll stick with until hopefully, I find my partner and then start the whole housewife mom thing.
That's your goal.
Yeah, that's really what I want. But
And where do you want to be?
That's
Do you want to be in St.
wild.
George or?
I mean, no, but you guys brought roots here. Like, I'm not, I don't want to, every time I'm like, I want to move to North Carolina or Florida, somewhere just like fun, especially meeting people would be so much better. It's like, I don't want to be away from you guys, especially mom's coming back and then Hannah probably eventually.
Yeah.
I don't want to be away from you guys.
Yeah.
Because I see the saddest things. It's like when you're an adult, if you don't live in the same like city as your parents, you probably see them only like 10 more times in your life.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
true.
just holidays.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know, mom and dad are a little bit older because they had me so late. So I would like to be around them, especially if I have kids.
Yeah,
I,
for sure.
I want to be around them.
Have your grandparents.
You went through that with mom, like
Yeah.
you're not being here.
Right.
I don't want that.
Yeah, and she doesn't want that either.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so is there a pivotal moment in your life that completely changed your perspective or direction, and how did that impact you?
Probably moving to Salt Lake. I think I grew so much there being at Lux,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Maybe not pivotal. I just ask it again.
So what would you say then is the most pivotal part in your life? Like, what is the one thing that's happened that like really like made you shift?
I don't know if I've had that. I mean, I could say college maybe.
Yeah, right. Because then that shifted your entire life goal.
Yeah, probably college, just realizing like that's not the path I was going to follow anymore.
Have you come to terms with that yet?
No.
I don't think so, right? Because
No.
you're so emotional just by the question.
I probably will cry again.
So how do you come to terms with that? Like, and why do you think you haven't?
I don't know that you do.
Why not?
I mean, wow, yeah, I actually don't think I realized.
No, you haven't.
I don't think I realized.
You're holding
How
on to
much
that.
that-
It's really affecting you, right? Because you've got
Yeah.
this thing that probably feels like a failure or like, and so you're almost living every day as a failure because you view this one thing you were supposed to do that you didn't do, and now you're not gonna do, right? So
Right.
you have to come to terms with that for yourself and realize that that was a goal that a 16-year-old girl had.
No, but like a 5-year-old girl, like I
Sure.
seriously grew up and like the question of like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like it never changed.
But do you think all that weight of thinking like this was my childhood dream? Because think about it. Think how many, like you're sitting here feeling so emotional about it, but at 5 years old, I wanted to be like a baseball player. Like it's not like every person has the luxury of pursuing that passion from childhood.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think you put so much pressure on yourself that you did always want to do this thing.
Yeah.
And then you tried to pursue it and it didn't work out. And so it obviously is like a huge weight on you.
Yeah, I think it's just, it was realizing like probably I wasn't as smart as I thought I was, or like I didn't
Sure.
have it in me as much because I mean, we're very competitive beings. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're book winning the moment, like, you know, you have to lose to win, but I don't like lose.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to. I didn't like having to admit that like I couldn't finish
do it.
school.
Yeah.
But I don't think I have it in me. And I don't think I don't think you should go to school if you don't have to go to school. Like that was never, I've always said like, if I'm not going to be a vet, like I'm not going to waste my time in school
Yeah.
otherwise. Cause I mean, I've seen you and all these people around you be so successful without it. I think there's just certain things like becoming a doctor. or
Yeah. There's
vet,
things you have to do it for.
you literally have to go
Yeah.
to. But yeah, that was, I guess, probably the biggest shift. And I don't know, how do you get over like not pursuing what you want? Because I mean, I am such a forward thinker that people are like, go back, like try again. But it takes 8 years to become a vet. So if you think about it, I'm going to be in such debt by the end of those 8 years. And around that time, I hope that I at least have a partner and we're talking about having kids.
Yeah.
And then what? I have kids and we're in debt and the economy already sucks. And then like it's just setting myself up for failure. I know eventually I would make it back, but
There's got to be more affordable versions of school though, right? Like if you went to Dixie on in-state tuition, I don't think Dixie or Utah Tech, sorry, is that expensive.
no. That's honestly, that was, like I said, don't go out of state. That was my first mistake.
And you
I
can get
should've
grants and you can do all kinds of stuff, you know?
stayed, I
And
suppose.
at the end of the day, if you really want it, right? Like and maybe you don't, maybe it was an ideal that you had that you really
Maybe
wanted
not.
at a time and you're still just holding on to it, right?
Yeah.
But if you really wanted it, like you have already been out of school for how many years now?
I went when I was like 18, 19, so
4 years.
yeah.
So you'd already be halfway there if you just had continued, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter if it's 8 years from now. And even if you do go into debt, that's obviously, that's like one of the professions that you know you're going to be successful, like being a
Yeah.
dentist or an orthodontist
Yeah.
or a doctor. There's a lot of debt that is involved, but you're able to
Yeah.
have such good earning potential after the fact. And there's a lot of things you can do during school to help mitigate that too. So I think if it truly is, I think you got to define that for yourself. If it really is like a passion you still have, then figure out how to do it or allow yourself to forgive you for not doing it, because you can't keep carrying that burden around, right? Like you can't, as a 23-year-old Sarah, you can't be like putting so much onus and pressure on a decision that a 19-year-old made.
Yeah.
You know, because like you can see it in your eyes how much it affects you. So it's really still in you. So how can we help you get through that to where you can accept it for what it was, right? Like it was a loss in time. It's not a loss forever.
Yeah.
It's not like when you're a grandma, you're going to be telling your grandkids, like, I could have been a vet. You know, like there will come a time in your life that decision is not going to matter.
Yeah.
The only reason it feels like it still matters to you is because you haven't yet found your thing. And so you're
I
always
think,
like linking
yeah.
back to like, oh, I haven't figured it out yet. I've just gone from job to job to job. It isn't
I
like,
think it is.
it's not a passion. And so then you're still like kind of clinging to that of like, oh, I could have been this.
Yeah.
But you tried it just like the other jobs. You did try
Yeah.
and it didn't work. And so
Yeah.
just like there's nothing wrong with you leaving a job, there's nothing wrong with you deciding that that's not going to be your pursuit.
Yeah. I think come to terms with I'm never going to try to pursue that. I think I just need
Then
to
you got to
come
let it
terms
go.
with- yeah.
Because we should be able to talk about it and it shouldn't bring that emotion up for you. Because if
Yeah.
it does, it means you haven't let go.
No. Yeah. I honestly haven't talked about it in a while. I didn't realize I was going to react that way because I came in here. I know your questions you ask, and like that was going to be my answer for like, what's your biggest loss? It's
Yeah.
not finishing school.
So I'm trying to ask different ones, you cheaters.
I've already thought them all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know how I get over it. I mean, yeah, just forgive
Maybe
myself.
forgiveness. Yeah. Forgive yourself for deciding that wasn't a path you're going to take.
Yeah. I think too, I'm just such a believer in like, not that I don't want to like grind and hustle. Like I do, I want to do well for myself and, work hard, but it's hard when you're not working hard at your, like for something you're passionate about.
Yeah. Or if your hard work doesn't change your level of compensation.
Yeah. So I think ultimately I just want to be in a job or role where that's actually something like I want to be in.
Yeah.
Because like I worked at Lux, that was awesome, but like cars,
You never don't care.
I mean, I've always thought they were cool. Like, you and Dad always liked cars, but it was never something that I was like, I'm going to work with cars when I'm older. Like
right.
that was just such a curveball in my life. I mean, again, I think I grew so much there. So I'm so thankful for that opportunity because I thought at the beginning, I'll never forget, they ran meetings and that was going to be my job. And I was like, good luck getting me to do that.
Yeah.
I'm never going to do that.
Right.
And by the end of it, that was nothing to me.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
I'm thankful for that. Like, I think that these jobs I'm doing, even though they're not my passion, like I'm even right now learning
You're building
marketing.
skills. Yeah.
I mean,
Marketing is a
That's a
skill
cool
that's so
skill.
beneficial no matter what. Like even if you ended up working with animals, knowing how to market that thing you're working
Yeah.
with is invaluable, right? And I
100%.
think what's cool about Lux is you were dealing with very successful people and high dollar transactions
Yeah.
who have a particular expectation of things. And so you were really, you were having to have these very courageous conversations and you built such a skill in that. In fact, Spencer and Lee have already said like, oh yeah, Sarah's great. She can handle it. And that's what I told them too. Is like, don't be afraid to lean on her because like talking to someone about their $1,000 a month marketing package is way easier than talking to someone who just spent $24,000 to get some work done to their $500,000 car.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's
there are definitely
this conversation
conversations.
over here is much more challenging than this one.
Yeah.
So you've really built, this really great skills. And even the days you took the phones for virtual GM, even though you didn't know it, you handled it great. So you've got the ability to be successful. It's really just deciding where you're going to put that energy into,
Yeah.
and maybe you take this marketing opportunity to be another growth step for you.
Yeah.
And then you leverage the skill sets into something that's involved animals,
Yeah.
or we find, like different, animal related businesses that we can market for. So then those are your clients and you're pursuing your passion indirectly through that.
Right. Yeah. I just feel like I have peace knowing I will eventually do that, but like these are just my stepping stones.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I'm fine to not.
Do you believe that? Do you believe you're fine? Or are you just saying it because that's what we're supposed to say? Because I don't think you'd have that emotional trigger if you were fine. So I think maybe be careful with your words, because sometimes we mask our emotions with our words. So that way we feel like we're taking a step forward. But I would just challenge you to really go back and do the work you need to allow that past loss to be turned into a win, right? Like you wouldn't have had all those life experiences that you did have. And you've had amazing life experience. I mean, you've done so many awesome things since you left school.
Yeah.
All the vacations you've been on, all the fun jobs you've had, all the traveling you've done, all the different places you've lived.
Yeah.
So it's like that propelled all of those great experiences for you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine. I don't know. I think I'm, because obviously I want to be a vet. I'm not okay with the
Do you
fact
still
that
want to
I'm
be a vet?
Not. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that I maybe haven't forgave myself for like not completing like that the schooling and the becoming a vet. I think that is the issue I have. I think I have come to terms with like I'm not gonna be a vet.
Yeah, you haven't
okay
yet
with
forgiven yourself for not
that.
pursuing it.
Yes. So like yeah.
But you've
I'm okay
accepted
with
you're
that.
not going to be it.
Yes. Because in my head it's like I'm choosing my future family over
A career.
that, which I mean that's a dream too, You could say they both are.
Yeah.
But I'm just choosing my future family over becoming a vet. Again, you could do it. You could figure out the ways to go to school. I just honestly I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to.
That's okay. That's okay to not want to do that, And if you feel that way, then it's all right to allow yourself the grace to say, this is not a thing I'm going to do,
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not. It just sounds very stressful. And I know what stress does to my body.
Yeah,
I
think it's really important to know who you are and how you operate and to put yourself in situations that are conducive to you being successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I am fine right now just having jobs to grow and make money. I do believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I think we've made progress.
Since what?
It's a whirlwind of emotions here. Okay, so favorite conspiracy theory. What's your favorite conspiracy theory?
I don't really know that. Honestly, the only ones I know are from you.
Well, do you believe in aliens?
Yeah.
You believe in aliens?
I mean, I don't know what. I believe there's
Kind of
life
seems like you don't believe.
Where when you say alien, I'm like picturing what, like the green guys.
Yeah, well, I don't know what they look like,
Yeah, but I do
Are there
think-
other beings that visit us, Like, do you think they've entered our space?
No.
Really?
Well, I think that there's life on. I feel like, yeah, there's life elsewhere, but I don't think that. I mean, I think they've come here, like all the weird things that people see, but I don't think they're living with us.
Oh, yeah, I don't think they're living with us either.
Okay. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
maybe. Maybe they
No,
are.
I know that you just opened my mind to
Yeah.
are they living with us?
Could be shapeshifters.
You an alien?
I could be. Megan met someone who said he was an alien. Full on. Was like, yeah, I'm an alien. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, there's people who believe that.
If he was an alien, he wouldn't say he was an alien.
Or maybe he would.
So you would think that there's no way an alien would tell me he's an alien. Smart.
Right? So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe.
It's true.
So wait, I don't think I've gotten a full answer. Aliens are real, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure they're
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. Do you
Right?
still think that the Earth is flat?
I don't know that I think the Earth is flat. I just don't know that it's round. I just don't know.
Fair. Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not like I wouldn't fight a battle of like the earth is flat, but I would also not say it definitively isn't. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know enough to know. And the thing is, there's on every argument, there's always so much information that like if I wanted to dive into the flat earth thing and just consume myself with it, I could convince myself of it.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to dive into people who were like huge proponents of it being round, I could dive into that too, you know?
You should have Allie on here because Allie, you could.
Oh, I should for sure. Yeah, I should.
Allie, get on the pod.
Yeah,
I'm
Allie,
thinking about this now, and
totally.
like, I mean, first of
have
all,
her come
you
to
could
a
talk to
full
Allie for hours, but like, if you could seriously sit here and probably just straight up talk about conspiracies.
You're totally right. Have her come on and just talk about all of the deep dives
she's got a lot
done.
of good things to say.
Yeah, no, she like does her research. She
I was gonna
dives
say
in.
because like you can ask me this question. This is just based off like what I'm thinking right now. I've not done any research. Like,
No.
I've not looked into
Allie
it.
dives into it. She does her work.
When she like has she's very knowledgeable in many interesting things.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm gonna ask her.
Yeah.
Should we ask her right now?
Yeah, we should probably call her. You know, it would be funny if you try calling her and she doesn't answer, and then I try calling her. And
Okay, I'll call her on speakerphone.
Let's see.
For the audience, who's Allie?
Allie is Breck's sister.
Okay.
And one of my best friends.
And one of Sarah's best friends. And
she's going to be my future roommate. Well, I've already lived with her, but.
And she does deep dives into conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah. And just like health, everything. Like
anything, yeah. Like when hey, Allie. Hey, you're on the podcast.
Hey, Allie.
Oh, hi, guys.
You're the first guest we phoned in.
It was important.
Oh, gosh.
So we're talking about conspiracy theories, and Sarah said you should be on the podcast. I was like, oh my God, of course she should. So are you willing to come be a guest and talk about the deep dives you've done?
I would absolutely love to talk about the deep dives.
Ask her if aliens are real.
I can't even imagine the dives I've done.
Oh, this is very exciting. Okay, so the question we're asking right now is, are aliens the real?
Oh, guys, that is a tough one. That's a tough one. I've gone back and forth.
Interesting. I thought she was going to.
I for sure that you'd say yes. Okay,
Yeah,
and then
me too.
I'm gonna book you on the podcast after this is over. But last question: what's your favorite conspiracy theory right now,
Oh, right now?
or of all time?
Okay, right now my current favorite one is that Joe Biden is a body double.
Oh, interesting. So her current favorite conspiracy is that Joe Biden is a body double. I've actually seen some of those clips. Very interesting. I'm excited to hear more about that. Okay, well, thank you for. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I've seen some of it. Well, thank you for being our first phone-in caller, and I'll text you after and we'll get you booked.
Okay, bye, guys.
Right.
Okay, wait. That just
the body
made me think
double
of
one. Yeah.
Britney Spears.
Yeah. What's up with her, man?
I don't know, but I mean, I get it from TikTok and just people like pick apart her videos and be like, this is a green screen, and take like her.
It always looks weird. It always
does.
like when she's dancing, like her hair, like it always, the background, it always looks like
changes.
she's
People
like
can like
blurry.
actually have like a I don't know. They slow down the video and like as she turns, you can see that like a filter is going off her face.
She always looks like blurry. Like
yeah.
if someone was just filming you like this, it wouldn't look that way.
Or tattoos
and she's always
are
doing the
missing.
weirdest things.
And like if she's like free now, because like we did the whole like free
Yeah,
Britney thing,
yeah,
like now she's free, but she's
Conservatorship
still seems like
unhinged.
yeah. Well, people are saying it's not her.
I mean, all I can say is when I was younger, I thought Britney Spears was the most beautiful woman in the world, and that there's no way that, or I don't know how that woman that I had a poster in my room of turned into the woman she is today. Like,
I know.
it's hard to believe
I think
it's the
being
same
famous
person.
Really can
Yeah,
do something to
God,
you. Can,
being
like,
famous
either be successful and like
it'll get you.
I mean,
all that
of
stuff
them.
in Hollywood is weird.
Yeah.
The whole Hollywood.
Oh, yeah,
Hopefully,
the
Ali will
Hollywood
talk
thing,
about that.
yeah.
The whole Hollywood stuff and like
Yeah, I've heard that
the
too.
demonization, like all that stuff is
If
weird.
you want to have a conspiracy episode on that, Blake will go in on that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that too.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating.
It is. Yeah,
And terrifying also.
it is. I think that's why I probably don't deep dive into that because it's like
Yeah, I don't really
I don't
want
want to
it.
believe that that's really what humans do.
I know, it's terrible.
Like the famous people stuff. I don't want to.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Okay, well, that was quite an interesting tangent. I'm so glad you said that. I can't wait to have Allie on. That's going to be
Yeah.
awesome. So then let's talk about your biggest win. So what's the biggest win in your life?
I feel like we've already touched on it, but I would say kind of two parts. One, being as independent as I am, like after,
Yeah.
well, I mean, even when mom and dad got divorced, just kind of doing it.
I'm surprised that never got brought up, that we
Yeah.
didn't talk about that. That was because they got divorced and you were how old? 16?
15.
15. So you really like kind of raised yourself through high school because mom moved away or kind of lived here like back and forth, and then
Yeah, she always had a house here, but she remarried and he was in Texas.
yeah,
so
and then dad was
she was
still
back and
dealing
forth.
with his emotions at that time, and so
Well, and dad got that job where he was gone Monday through
Oh, yeah.
Thursday, Friday. So like I
Yeah.
actually really always had a house. It's a good thing I was the kid I am.
oh
I mean,
yeah, no kidding.
did I have
'Cause
parties?
you-
Yeah, but they were
Your
like,
supervision
smart
was
about it.
very limited.
It was, yeah.
You know, like you really did have to kind of raise yourself through high school.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate timing for you that, I mean, you were definitely
Yeah.
impacted the most of anyone for sure.
100%. Yeah.
Does that change your belief in marriage at all?
No. I mean, no. I still want to be married. I mean, I do think that marriages aren't as successful anymore.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
Because of all the things that, I mean, there's just so many platforms for you to be.
Yeah, it's like
sneaky
before, if you were
on,
going to
like,
cheat on your
trust,
spouse, it'd be very challenging because it'd have
Yeah,
to be like
like
someone
what,
you worked
call your
with or,
house phone?
you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
now it's like you can just have an app on your phone.
Erase it.
Yeah.
And like, there's no, yeah. So I think that, I mean, yeah, that's scary. That's another topic I was talking about with my friends last night. Like, you really, I don't know if you can ever fully trust someone when you're dating now because there's
Oh
just
yeah,
so
and how many
many
people are dating multiple
ways.
people at the same time? And it's like there's so many because like before, if you were to meet someone, like usually the girl you're dating, like you're connected to all the friends. But now someone could be
Yeah.
dating you and have a Tinder fling that's like you're not related to that person at all. Like you guys
Yeah.
would never even cross paths, you know.
No.
And so there's so many. I mean, it's definitely a different world for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know how we got here, but
You were saying your biggest win was being independent. Talked about mom
Yeah.
and dad divorcing when you were 15.
Yeah, so I think just having, honestly, I mean, in the time, just like when I moved all those times growing up, like hated it. Now I'm like so grateful for it because I can be so independent because
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends or like even Hannah, love you, Hannah, but like they didn't have to go through that. Like they always kind of had someone there. So like they
Yeah.
didn't get that independence. So I'm just so grateful.
Even
that
still,
I have that.
yeah, you've really figured out how to take care of yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I'm really proud of myself for that. But then also doing the things like Lux or this marketing job. I mean, I have immense social anxiety. So the fact that I have continued to work in customer service.
You think
is
you have
like,
social anxiety? That is shocking.
Yes. Are you kidding? I mean, when I used to go out
Yeah.
in college,
No,
I
I'm
would
not
like
kidding.
break out in hives. Like,
I mean, when you go to Mexico with us, you make friends with everybody.
alcohol's involved. You know, and that's a different, like, I'll never see them again, you know? I don't
It's
know.
still
maybe,
social, though.
Yeah, no, I know.
So it's
That's
something
the thing. It
different
is
for you then.
so
It's
crazy
deeper than
'cause
that.
I do think that I am like, I mean, like you, we're the fun ones.
Yeah,
you know?
I would never have pegged you as like a social anxiety. But I also
Oh, no.
I also consider myself an introvert, and people who know me probably wouldn't consider me that.
Well, I feel like, yeah, you're the same. Like, just, I mean, like you've said it before, you just push past it.
Yeah.
Like, I just put myself in these uncomfortable situations. Like you said, the podcast, I was so scared. You're like, in 10 minutes, you won't feel that way. Like, once you're in it.
Yeah, was
it's
I
just
right?
the, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
But
having
it's
a
just like,
conversation.
it's just the getting there.
Yeah,
You know, that's
starting.
what like.
Starting's
that's
the
what
hardest
gets
thing no
me
matter
is,
what
like,
you're doing.
Showing up, like, even when I like go to parties, like I'm not going to go alone. Like I have to have, which this is actually very contradicting when I said I'm independent, but
No, that's different. You mean independent, like you can take
Yeah.
care of yourself. You can
Yeah.
provide for yourself. You can find your lodging, transportation, food. Like you don't need someone to take care of
Yeah.
you. That's different
But-
than going to a party with
yeah,
someone.
like,
I hate
it's
that
just,
shit.
Like,
When
I
Megan
would
has new
never
friends.
show up alone. Like,
Oh yeah, and Megan has new friends, and it's like, oh, we're gonna like have dinner with these new people you don't know. I'm like, oh, that's my worst nightmare. You know, I don't
No,
want to do that
really.
at all. Or go to like a party with people I don't know. It's like,
then
oh,
you're there and it's like fun. Like, I mean, Cars for Kids, think about like, we didn't know any
Yeah.
of these people. And then you have like the time of your life, you know?
yeah. But that is a little bit easier because you have this unique experience that like brings you together.
That's
so it's like
true.
you can just be like, oh, what kind of car do you have? And what do you think of the drive today? Like there's so many like
You're right.
common
Topics to talk
denominators to
about.
be able to bring you together and
Yeah.
you're all there for a purpose. Where you go to like a house party with people you don't know.
Yeah,
Then you don't-
stand in the corner.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, what do? You sit down. Like, you look weird. Like,
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I do. I have terrible social anxiety, but I've continued to work in customer service. Literally, my title is like customer
Yeah, you're the
success
customer support.
manager.
Yeah, right.
That's my title. Like, that's just so crazy. I mean, and again, even at Lux, when they said like you're gonna have to run these meetings, I'm like, no, I'm not. And like, I think it's people staring at me, which I've always been like, I like to be a leader,
Yeah.
but it's like, I don't. You know, like I don't like the attention.
You don't want to be looked at.
Yeah, I don't want to be looked at. That's, I think, the biggest thing. Like the
One
meetings,
interesting thing.
Like if everyone's staring at me and I'm not thinking about it, like I'm good. But then once I'm like, everyone's staring at me, I will like not be able to speak. Like I lose my train of thought. Like I don't want to be the center of attention, but I like to lead. But I like to lead like on the side.
That's interesting. I had a time once, because I've been in leadership roles for so long, and this was when we were doing the Southern Utah Tourism Summit in Kanab, and I was leading a meeting with all these DMOs and like a business leader from every community. So there was like 20 of us in a room in like a big U-shaped conference area. And I was leading the meeting, and all of a sudden, I don't know why, but I got this like insane sense of like social anxiety, and like I could feel myself getting red, and I was like sweating.
Yeah, we both do that.
And I had to go to the bathroom. I had to excuse myself and go to the bathroom and like put wet water on my face. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and I don't know why it happened, or if it was just there were so many eyeballs on me, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. It's like I let my mind get focused on what was happening. It was bad. And then another thing that I've always found difficult. The hardest thing for me in social situations is the exit, because I can have no problem opening. Like I can be at a party and be standing next to someone and start the conversation, but then ending it to me is way more awkward, because then like once you've had your open and you've said like those 5 or 7 things that we can all like communally talk about, and then you're just standing next to each other, but there is nothing else to go, like how to exit that interaction. Like I want someone to write a book for me on how to exit social situations. You know, when the conversation no longer has value and you can't take it anywhere else, but now it's awkward because you've already just talked for like 5 minutes and you're just standing next to each other in silence, and you can't just walk away. So it's like usually it's like I'll say something like, oh, I'll be right back, I gotta go talk to someone, you know. But it's like, what is that way to exit that interaction?
I think, well, I hate openings. I think I'm good at like coming up with like reasons to leave, like excuses, like little white lies, like kind of get out of there. But I think I don't like the exiting and opening, because like nowadays, like, do you shake someone's hand? Some people don't want to be touched, like huggers. I hate that part.
Oh, yeah. Like
when you first meet someone, it's like, I'm not a hugger unless like,
me neither.
It's like my friends. And even then, like, I really am only like touchy with the person I'm dating. Otherwise, I don't want to be
I'm
hugged.
not really a hugger. It can get so awkward.
And so it's like when you first meet someone, it's like, do we hug? Do we handshake? Do we just like say hi? That's what I hate. And then the exiting too, especially when like the person is like that's with you, like hugs them goodbye. But I'm like, oh, do I have to hug them goodbye? I don't want to.
Social
that's what
scenarios.
I hate.
So Vanessa Van Edwards, she wrote a book called Cues and another one called Captivate, and she was one of the speakers at the Summit of Greatness. And she talks all about like human interactions and what happens and how to be better at that. And I'm reading her book Cues right now. It's awesome. And in her talk, she talked about like what questions to ask people. Cause like so often we say like, oh, are you married? Do you have kids? What's your job? And we're really like just kind of evaluating them. Yeah. Like, are you worth my time to talk to? And then like, oh, I'm a doctor. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Now I'm interested, you know? Yeah. And so she was like, she gave all of these ideas as to how to have a more engaging conversation that isn't so like, I don't want to say judgmental, but it almost is like, oh, are you married? Do you have kids? Yeah. What do you do? We're really asking, you know, are you successful? How much money do you make?
In life?
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
We're pegging them. And so that never goes good. And it's also just like so autopilot for all of us. And so she had one that was really good that said like, what's something really interesting that's going on for you right now? And that's such a better opener than
that's a sweet.
What do you do for a living? Right. So for the people listening, check out Vanessa Van Edwards. She was phenomenal. She was awesome. Okay. So next question. What's your biggest loss?
Well, we already went over that.
Okay. So school. You still feel like that's what it is?
Well, also I feel like I need to go back because there's things that, as you're saying, I was thinking of. One, the reason I think I got social anxiety is because I remember being in class and like being able to do a presentation. That was fine. Like I had no problem with that. But you and I, if we got super embarrassed, our faces would get very flushed.
And then if someone says it, then it gets worse.
Yes. And so people started pointing it out when the rare times it happened. So then in my head, I was thinking like, I'm going to turn red if like people stare at me. Yep. So then I just like created this thing in my head. So that's why I think I have social anxiety, is because I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I'm like with a group of people and they're all staring at me and I'm talking and then I think about it and my face turns red.
Yep. I have that same thing.
That's where I think I got my social anxiety from.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm a really good conversationalist because of social anxiety. I never want it to be weird. So I like
always keep it going.
I can keep the conversation going, and I can ask like very in-depth questions. Like and I honestly love that. Like at a party, I'll be the person who's on the couch who found a random person and is like having like the most in-depth conversation I've ever had. Like that's what I want to do. But yeah.
Have you read How to Win Friends and Influence People?
No.
That's a great book. It's all about like how to perform well in those social situations. If you're willing to, I would highly suggest it. So what about mentor? Would you say you've had a mentor in your life?
You.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're definitely, Hannah and I were talking about this too. Like, if there's one person we want like approval from, it's you. Like, just like, we're like, hey, Cody, look at, like, I got an A on my test.
Look what I'm doing.
Like Anna said, like, she texted you the day something. And I was like, isn't that funny we do that? Like, anytime we do something good, we're like, look, Cody, I'm doing well.
Yeah, that's great. I love
like,
it.
you have to know that. I mean, think about it. All the jobs, like even Lux, that was kind of an indirect.
Oh, 100%.
And you said,
yeah.
like, I got the job myself, which, yeah, I did. I mean, that was an extense, like,
But you always need someone to open a door
interview.
for you.
Yeah. And I really do think it is, the people you know, but everything, I mean, besides Pizza Pie Cafe, my first job, you really have, I mean, the visitor center and then
Newspapers.
the newspaper. Yeah. And then Lux, Vibrant Marketing. So, I mean, you've really kind of paved my career path, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's paved in the right way and it's not paving you away from your purpose.
I don't know if I know what that is. So I feel like it's just.
Well, there's a
getting me
takeaway.
toward it. I'm growing.
There's a takeaway homework assignment for you. Work on your purpose.
Yeah.
And it's going to evolve in time, right? Like your purpose today will be different than your purpose when you're 30, but I think it's good to have one just so you know what that, live in the moment, but know where you're headed in 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So then favorite part of winning the moment. What was your biggest takeaway?
Your book?
Yeah.
Well, the thing I like the most that I think about all the time is excuses or just
Lies
like
you tell
little
yourself.
lies we tell ourselves, because I'll do that all the time.
We
like,
all do.
make it myself, like I'm going to the gym and I'm like, oh, I'm too tired. And it's like, but you talk
You
yourself out
rationalize
of
your
it,
failure,
and you
yeah.
like tell yourself like, oh, I'm sad. I don't have to go. Like, it's okay. I should be graceful with my body, whatever. I do it all the time. And now that like line is stuck in my head. I'm like, I'm just making an excuse because I don't want to do it. Sometimes that's okay. But like,
And it is okay, but at least be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's not some bullshit reason I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because I just don't want to.
yeah, you have to be honest. So, I mean, that does stick in my head. So I would say that.
That's great. I love that. What a great takeaway. So then the last question is, how would you define success?
This is, I think this is in your book. You wrote about like, you asked me like what success is, and I was just speaking on like what
Society tells us.
society's blueprint is for us.
Yeah.
So, I should have thought about this one more. I came prepared for all the other questions. I literally have a note in my phone, and it's like this question and like this answer, and like sometimes I'll like think
Pull
about
up your
it.
note. Let's see if your answers were
Well,
the same.
I did get a new phone.
Let's see.
But I literally will like sometimes think about it when I'm listening to your podcast. I'll realize that I'm not actually listening anymore because I'm like in my head having the conversation with you too.
Are the notes still there?
I mean, there's a lot of notes. No, I don't think so.
So then you have to go off the cuff because you weren't prepared. But what would you say it is?
Well, honestly, probably doing something that doesn't feel like a chore every day, like my job, whatever that ends up being, my like long-term job, just hopefully enjoying that. I never want to feel like life is a chore or like, like all I do is I wake up. I don't like...
You don't want to be in the rat race.
Yeah. I hate, and I think that's why I love moving so much, is because once I'm starting to feel like stuck, I'm like itchy, and I'm like, I don't want to ever feel like... I like a routine, but like not too much. I want to be... Now I feel like I'm going off the question, but...
No, that's okay.
I want to... Success for me is my life being not just a grind. Like,
Yeah.
I want
Kind
to
of sounds
enjoy
like
my
what you're
life.
saying is freedom a little bit.
Yeah. I want to have a partner and family that like wants to travel with me and like have fun. And I just never want to feel like I'm just living to survive.
So it's almost like success for you is having a life that you want to do, not that you have to do.
Yeah. And this is like, I don't know whose line this is, but kind of cheesy, but like I want to live to live. I don't want to live to survive.
Yeah, for sure.
So
What do you think you're doing right now?
surviving.
So how do you change that for yourself?
Yeah. I mean, it really comes back to financial, Like I feel like I do as much as I can with the money I have. Like I
Yeah.
do think I travel a lot, and I think the hard thing too is
Yeah, you've done a good job of making sure that you give you like you're allowing yourself to enjoy the money you're earning.
sure, I do need to be better about that because I will like money. That's another issue that we've talked about that.
Yeah.
But I think too is I just really want a partner because like someone to do the things with. Because like I want to go to Florida. I don't want to go by myself. You know? Like I've thought about that because like I should probably do a solo trip because that's uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, it's
Thinking
good to have
about,
that time for yourself.
Going alone and because that's something I want to do, but I tell myself I can't because I don't have someone to do it with. My friends are all, Addie has a baby.
Especially where you can fly.
Yeah. Till I'm 24.
I know, but you got a year.
No.
I guess you have 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah, but then there's always like, if you want someone to do it with you, they have to pay to fly and they have to pay for the hotel.
Yeah.
So for them, it's, just so expensive. It's it's not realistic. So
do you think moving so much as a kid, so we moved all the time as kids, so
yeah,
moved house all the time, you moved to St. George when you were 5, then you moved to Colorado when you were, what, 8?
I was born in Wyoming, moved to Utah when I was 2, moved to Colorado when I was 8, moved to North Carolina when I was 11, moved back to Utah when I was 12, and then...
Wow, you were only in North Carolina for 1 year.
It was kind of almost like 2 years.
Okay,
I think,
yeah.
because just the age was weird. But and then I moved to Arizona for college, and then I came back, and then I spent like a summer kind of in Texas. Came back, went to Salt Lake, came back. I just keep coming back to St. George.
Yeah, you and me both.
Just yeah.
That's a good place to come back to.
Was there a question with that?
No, I just think I think the question is, do you think that was a positive in your life?
Not at the time. At the time, I was constantly being torn away from like best friends,
Yeah.
And which is so funny because you say we moved around growing up. You did too, but
I just moved schools.
Yeah, but you and I, like, I don't even remember living with you.
Yeah,
You were a stranger, honestly, until I was pretty much an adult.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we had nothing to talk. You're 13 years older than me.
Yeah, because when you were 8 and moved because you really start remembering things at about 5. So like I remember you guys being around like when I was in high school and all of that stuff.
You were just sleeping in the office sometimes, I feel like.
No, that was when you guys came back the second time.
Sonoma. Yeah, but that's where I remember. I don't remember ever.
You don't even
living
remember
with
the
you.
park house.
No, I do a little bit. I do remember like you would do the movie nights and you told us mom and dad died in a tornado.
Sarah.
And made us hide downstairs.
I still don't think that's true. So you're right. I was not really there because you were 8, then you moved. Then when you're in Colorado, I only came like once.
I was always away, yeah. So
I only came one time. Then you guys moved to North Carolina. I came there once. And then you guys moved back here when you were... How old were you? 12?
12,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't remember growing up with you. I barely remember living with you. So I really, again, did not know you until
you're like
came
12.
back. Yeah. And
yeah.
I was older.
Because then we're around you a lot.
But even then, it's just so funny that, I mean, when I came back, I was still 12. Like, what did we have to talk about? You were just kind of more a role model. And now we're at an age
because
where, like,
you guys
we
were
can
living
do
in the house.
adult things together, you
and
know?
I had to come and have a meeting with mom and dad about their finances, and I lend them money.
Yeah. Yeah. You were, I mean, yeah.
And like I got dad that job in St. George. And
you were kind of all of our role models, really. Not that like mom and dad love you, but after because we owned Mary Maids after 2008 happened.
Oh, yeah, 2008
people
hurt
can't
a lot
afford
of people.
to have their houses clean, and we had 3 of those.
Yeah.
So that's really why we moved around. People always ask me, "Oh, you a military brat?"
Yeah.
No, what'd your dad do for work? Sold phones.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, we were just chasing the next best thing to survive. Yeah. Like
and really dad did super well in that.
Yeah.
Like when he was in those roles, he did really good. But 2008 crippled a lot of people.
Yeah.
But so in the time, it wasn't beneficial. Looking back on it now, do you feel like that's given you more social skills?
Yes, because you were forced to make friends.
Yeah.
I mean, you're moving somewhere new. You have to go out and make the friends. So yeah, I definitely think that helped me, as well as just culture. I think that
Getting
Utah,
exposed to it,
a lot of people here, born and raised, travel really to Vegas, California, maybe. So they don't really know outside of Utah. So I'm grateful that I did get to go into other cultures and experience that. And I don't say, that I'm cultured, but I'm definitely more cultured.
Yeah, you got to experience different parts of the country, different people, different ways of life. I mean, that obviously.
It's so different everywhere.
Yeah,
where was crazy?
Where did you enjoy living the least, like in your childhood? Which one of those was the most difficult?
Colorado. I did have a lot of friends that were bullies.
Really?
Yeah.
So that wasn't good for you?
I wouldn't say it was not, it just wasn't the best.
More challenging.
Yeah. But I did like Colorado. But I would say of all the places, I would move back to North Carolina.
Yeah.
People there are awesome. It's not even, I like the lake more than I like the beach, but it's just such a adorable place.
Oh, the ocean there where
so
we went.
cute.
What was that town we went to the ocean at? That was like
Wilmington.
so picturesque.
And me and Hannah always say we're going to move there one day because it is just the cutest little town.
It is the
It's
coolest
just
place
the
ever.
Sweetest people. People would go to bed and their garages would be open. Like
Yeah.
it just felt like such a cute little safe place.
It is a great community. Okay, well, anything you want to leave the audience with?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, thanks for being here. That was fun. I really enjoyed it. It went by super fast. It was easy, right?
Yeah, now I feel like I just have so much to talk about.
Yeah, now you're loosened up.
Yeah, I'm like, wait.
Well, is there something else you want to talk about?
Well, now that you put me on the spot, what do you mean? I just feel like I'm the worst. I need to get better listening to listen, not listening to answer. Because as you're speaking, I'm thinking in my head like, oh, I have something to say about that. I have something to say about that. I'm really good at interrupting, so it's very hard to just sit here and like
Me too.
let you speak. And then I'm like, wait, but go back to that because you're like trying to change the conversation. I'm like, wait, I have something to say about the thing you said like 5 topics ago.
Yeah, it's hard. Doing the podcast has really helped me become a better listener because I'm the same as you.
Yeah.
I'm not usually actively listening. I'm preparing to respond.
Yes. Yeah. That's actually what my last relationship taught me is I need to be better at listening to listen, not listening to respond.
Yeah.
So
it's an important skill. Well, there you go. That's a great thing to leave the audience with. Well,
Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much for being here. I loved it. I love you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.